what ends up happening is that it's not like any of the people who are in Linda Mwananchi are rookies. We don't have brand new people who are not sitting in office. They are sitting in office. They already have something that that they can build on.
A track record.
Right? So from there, that should, from my perspective, give me something that even me, I'm like, okay, ujama amefanya hivi, ama nimeona amefanya hivi, ama amesema hivi.
Okay.
Kusema na kutenda.
My first aha moment in viewing Edwin Sifuna as, a presidential candidate for the 2027 election was when we were having the Gen Z's Mandamano and we were on the streets, and this senator was amongst the leaders that was standing between us and the bullets. I remember sharing his videos across all my social media platforms and telling people, do you see what kind of a leader this is? And from that moment, owing to the fact even that I had interacted with him during Azimio, I started viewing him as a possible, presidential candidate.
Linda Mwananchi has become one of the loudest new forces in Kenya's 2027 election politics. Next weekend, on Saturday, the 22nd of August, that conversation comes directly to the diaspora through a one-of-a-kind virtual town hall. The forum will feature Edwin Sifuna, Honorable Babu Owino, and Governor James Orengo. Now, beyond the headlines, the big question tonight is, what does this town hall engagement mean? Is Linda Mwananchi simply looking for financial support from the diaspora, or are they building a genuine platform where Kenyans abroad can influence local politics and remain engaged beyond elections? We'll unpack what participants should expect from the town hall, how the format will work, how to participate, and how diasporans globally can help shape Kenya's agenda. We'll also tackle the elephant in the room on why IEBC has completely locked out the diaspora from voter registration with no communication despite elections being less than a year away. And as organizers work towards a coordinated Linda Mwananchi diaspora structure, we'll also ask, how do we separate legitimate engagement from unofficial WhatsApp groups and political noise? More importantly, we'll be getting both sides of the story, from the organizers building this virtual town hall in the US and a view directly from the Linda Mwananchi Secretariat on the ground in Kenya. So without much further ado, ladies and gents, type Karibu in the comment section below and help me in welcoming our guest tonight. I will start with the Linda Mwananchi coordinator currently in Homa Bay County, Miss Abbie Zuena. Some of you who watch Jagero's Political Headache might be familiar with her. Abbie, once again, karibu sana. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling okay. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, sawa. Abbie, we're going to restart this again. Now, in a minute or two, please tell us what you're currently doing in Homa Bay and your role in the Linda Mwananchi movement. Abbie.
Okay, my name is Abbie Zuena. I'm part of the Secretariat of Linda Mwananchi, and just a little bit of a backstory of where this all began and my, role and inclusion in planning and being part of one of the biggest movements in Kenya. First and foremost, last election, I was also in the Azimio campaign trail. I think that was my first time interacting with the current principals of Linda Mwananchi, and I coordinated Nakuru County as a youth leader then. So I have been in the political space for quite some a time. Professionally, I'm a real estate consultant, and I remember my first aha moment in viewing Edwin Sifuna as, a presidential candidate for the 2027 election was when we were having the Gen Z's Mandamano and we were on the streets, and this senator was amongst the leaders that was standing between us and the bullets. I remember sharing his videos across all my social media platforms and telling people, do you see what kind of a leader this is? And from that moment, owing to the fact even that I had interacted with him during Azimio, I started viewing him as a possible, presidential candidate, and I still do. And so for me, when they attempted to remove him from the SG of ODM, and also seeing how he struggled with the handshake between the late Baba and the current president, William Samoei Ruto, seeing how he, participated in drafting the 10-point agenda, and seeing how he kept reminding both sides of the divide that is the document that binded them. And even when, very fundamental clauses and foundational, coalition that led to the coming together of these two parties were being broken. Like, for example, the extrajudicial killing of the late Albert Ojwang, him being vocal and even telling his own party leader that this 10-point agenda has been broken because we've seen a young man die inside a police cell, and the government had already promised that there's not going to be any more extrajudicial killing, was quite admirable. And these are some of the things that young people and overall Kenyans that are able to relate with Sifuna. And so when they attempted to remove him as the SD of ODM, I remember calling my friend, and we just decided to start the Sisi Ndio Sifuna movement and amplify it. And all it took was a t-shirt printed Sisi Ndio Sifuna. We went to his office, and the movement took over from there. It has been quite a journey. We've gotten to travel and engage Wananchi. I think now we've done 23 counties and still going. This weekend, we're in Homa Bay County, of course, and being hosted by Honorable Karoli Omondi, who is one of the principals and the spokesperson of Linda Mwananchi. And it's been remarkable what we do as part of the Secretariat over and above planning which county to visit. It means going to the ground weeks before, engaging stakeholders of the community and society, that is the business community, the young people, the women groups, border sector, the transport sector, the women in the markets, and understanding what issues they're going through, what they expect from us as we come to present ourselves and as an alternative government in the making, and what they would want us to voice out, and what issues and what problems that they are going through on the ground, so that we are able to amplify their voice and amplify what they are going through as we gear towards, crafting what manifesto we are going to be bringing to the people of this nation, and understanding what needs to be done. And I say this because every county has specific issues that they go through. So for us, it's also sort of a public participation, movement. So every county we go through, we're just collecting views, understanding what Kenyans want. But overall, even in a nutshell, we are still able to cluster that in a 4 or 5 point agenda, even without doing so much. There are 5 things on top of any Kenyan that they would say there's no money in the economy. We don't want to be killed for voicing out or saying Ruto must go. And number 3, the cost of life has gone high. Insecurity has spiraled in the country. I mean, even what we're experiencing in our Homa Bay rally ahead on Sunday is quite shocking. So I hope I've taken my 2 minutes. Okay. And thank you so much for having me.
That's an extended 2 minutes, but asante sana, for that introduction. I want to go to Al in Houston, Texas, and now who's one of the organizers of the upcoming Diaspora virtual town hall event. To start with you, Al, in a minute, as part of the organizing committee, some people are already asking, who are these guys organizing a Diaspora town hall, and what's their connection with the Linda Mwananchi movement on the ground? Are you guys official or self-appointed? So Al, karibu sana.
Well, I want to say thank you so much for having us, and we do appreciate your show, of course, and the contribution you make to the Diaspora community as the One Man Show. We do really thank you for actually just having us and to give us this platform to kind of lay down what we are trying to do as far as the upcoming town hall is all about. I have to say that from the onset that we have a team that has gotten the approval from the Linda Mwananchi leadership back in Kenya to be able to have this town hall. I think for us, we thought that we need to have a platform in which the Linda Mwananchi leadership can be able to engage directly with the diaspora. And we are a representative or a representation of the entire diaspora with people from the Middle East, London, Canada, Germany, as well as across the United States as well. And so I think that we want to hear from the leadership, and so that they can be able to lay ground what the vision they have about the diaspora, as well as just to hear from the diaspora as well what concerns and issues they have. I have to say that in 2024 we had a chance to host Senator Edwin Sifuna, and we are here in Houston for town hall, in which during that time he had like almost a 3-hour interaction with the members of the Houston community. I think he also had some events in Chicago as well as in Seattle, during which he was able to listen to members of the diaspora. And then he followed up with inviting the CS for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, Honorable His Excellency Musalia Mudavadi, in the Senate, during which he presented some of the concerns that the diaspora had actually laid out to him. So I think that this meeting here is also another opportunity for him also just be able to hear more and be able to see what else he can be able to, what are the issues that the diaspora may have, that they may also be able to, as the incoming government, the issue that they may have to tackle.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Al. Then I'm now going to move to Dan. Dan Mugubi, the other organizers of this virtual town hall. First, karibu sana Dan. And Dan, some people are a bit confused and not sure. So in a brief minute, start by maybe telling us, one, two things about yourself and give us the dates, the timings, and how people can log into the virtual town hall. Dan, karibu sana.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here, and thanks for having us on this show. As I said, I'm Dan Gubi. I'm in Texas, but you can take me out of Kenya, but you can't take Kenya out of me. And so I'm also a community leader, and as a community leader, we want to practice also Kenyan community leader. We want to practice our democracy, which is bestowed, which is in our constitution, that we provide ways of communication and reaching out to every part of the world, not only in the counties in Kenya, but the big picture of those Kenyans who are in diaspora. We also want to be involved because that's our country. We want the principals to hear about us, the Linda Mwananchi, anybody who comes up, so that they can share with us what do they have for Kenya and what we as diasporans are facing here, and that we'd like them to also listen to us. So, as it stated, we are organizers, a group of so many of us from different geographical locations. We have Canada, we have Australia, we have UK, London, we have US. So it's a diverse kind of representation that we have here, and we organize this Linda Mwananchi Forum, just to platform for the upcoming. Sorry, am I there? Hello?
Yes, you're still there. We're still listening to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we just organized this movement, the platforms for the upcoming town hall meeting with the principals. And as it said, it's going to be next week on Saturday, August 22nd. And it's going to be 5 p.m. Kenyan time, which is going to be in the US. It's going to be 9 a.m. Central Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Pacific Time, those who are in California and Washington. London is going to be 3 p.m. And of course, Dubai is going to be 6 p.m. South Africa is going to be 4 p.m. Johannesburg. Australia, Melbourne is going to be 12 a.m. And so we ask each and everyone, the diasporans, people, Kenyans in these countries all over US, not only US, all over the world, to come and attend and listen to the principles of Linda Mwananchi. Thank you very much.
All right, asante sana, Dan. And the number to call is 202-683-4570. Press *5 to speak. We're having issues with our Facebook live stream, so if you know anyone who was on Facebook, please send them the link at YouTube. Tell them to jump onto the YouTube live stream. Now, before I come back to Abbie Zuena to tell us a bit more about Linda Mwananchi and why they're targeting the diaspora, I first want to introduce the panel, and I'm going to start with DJ Omosh Fire right here in the studio. Now, DJ Omosh, we've extensively covered town halls out there in the diaspora, and we, for the most part, have given them a failing grade. What are one or two things you expect to know or learn tonight that might make you want to attend this Linda Mwananchi town hall? DJ Omosh Fire, karibu sana.
Ali, asante sana. Thanks to our guests for coming through, and especially the one who's in Bay County, aka Homa Bay, kule nyumbani. In fact, I think I'll give her the address to Shag so she can go check on my mifugo. But back to the town halls. Expecting out of this to get something whatever that something is, that's going to make me want to attend the town hall, being that A, it's virtual, B, I'm not going to have direct access, or at least I think I'm not going to have direct access to the principals to ask questions live, or is it mundu ku mundu, meaning tuko mimi na yeye hapa kwa hapa nikimuuliza. Because for me, at this point, that's where I am with our Kenyan politicians and the movement and anything to do with Kenyan politics, because suwaga tunapangangwa. So, staki kupangwa, basically.
Hatupangwingwi.
At this point,
yeah,
somebody needs to tell me more than chips na nini, vibes na inshallah.
Okay, so for people who are in the opposition, how do they tell that to you? They do not have access to government resources, for example, to build roads or schools. So how does someone in the opposition tell you that?
What do you mean, how do they tell me?
How do they tell you? You know, because umesema utaki kuambiwa chips na nini. So how does someone in government, you know, like can show you that I'm building houses here,
Correct.
or I'm building roads, but what about someone in the opposition? How do you want them to talk to you for you to hear that they will solve some of the problems that you're looking to be solved? DJ Omosh.
To me, I don't think that it's so much how they talk to me, but hapo kwa message. And you know, what ends up happening is that it's not like any of the people who are in Linda Mwananchi are rookies. We don't have brand new people who are not sitting in office. They are sitting in office. They already have something that that they can build on.
A track record.
Right? So from there, that should, from my perspective, give me something that even me, I'm like, okay, ujama amefanya hivi, ama nimeona amefanya hivi, ama amesema hivi.
Okay.
Kusema na kutenda, naeza ona rekodi yake. Then we move from there. But hii kitu ya regular kupangwa, tunatoa our hard and black tax, nimekata.
Okay. All right. The number to call is 202-683-4570. Press star 5 to speak. I'm going to come to the comments shortly here. But first, I want to go to Mika Ocha, the panelists. Now, Mika, you once said that you will never attend those diaspora town halls. Does it still hold, or has Linda Mwananchi helped you see things differently? Mika, karibu sana.
Hey, Ali. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to our guest today. Thank you for getting time to come to us, and thank you to our listeners, our changiaji, as we usually call them. And straight to your question, Ali. The thing about town halls for me is that when I go to a town hall, I want to go to a town hall where my voice will be heard. What I have to say, I have to speak about it. What I've gone to, the diaspora town halls I've gone to, I've always turned into political rallies. And most of the time, a little bit tribal oriented. And it just ends up being a worshipping of the politician who's attending that town hall. There's nothing else. It's people trying to get access to the politician. And so what I want to understand with this town hall, the Linda Mwananchi town hall, is the diaspora is a huge market. And it's virtual. And as Omosha said, how are you going to control that interaction to make the person who takes their time to log in to actually feel like they're interacting with the principals who will be available at that particular town hall? We don't want to come to a town hall and it feels like I'm attending a lecture in Zoom. I spend 5 days a week in Zooms the whole day. Sometimes I spend in meeting the people just rambling. I don't think I want to spend a weekend just hearing a politician rambling about what they want to do for me.
Okay.
So how engaging is this going to be? Those are the things that I want to pick up from this. Like, don't get me wrong. I pretty much want a song out. But in the process of ya kutoa kasongo nje, what I appear to engage on how, and I like how, and for me, I like Linda Mwananchi's approach. That's the thing about me, what I like about them. I like the fact that they've stuck to the values of the Mwananchi. They interact with the Mwananchi, how they do their campaigns, how they do their rallies, how they do things. Like they withstood everything, and they always still go back to the people. They try to they started with that introduction to the people, and they've grown with that, still remain the fact. So I would really love for this, and that's the reason why I want to attend this township, because this town hall is because I want to actually feel that engagement that I see in the rallies. And it's not going to be the same, but I would love that engagement so that I can feel, at least we have a lot of people here in the diaspora who, if you ask them, what would you want from a politician in Kenya, they will tell you they don't know. But I'm sure after they speak with a politician for 10 minutes, they will have enough questions of what they would like that politician to give them.
Okay, asante sana Mika, that is Mika Och, and we're going to shortly go back to Abbie, but before we go to Abbie, there's a number of comments that I'm seeing here on YouTube, and again, if you have someone who's tuning in on Facebook, we're having an issue with the Facebook live stream, please ask your friends to log in on YouTube, apologies for that. So some comments here, they are coming in, from Tony here is asking, is Linda Mwananchi a movement, a party, a coalition, a vuguvugu, a caucus within ODM, or are they just as confused as I am? Abbie is going to be responding to that shortly. And then I have here Johanna Nauliza, how can we make sure we get this thing as wananchi? Because Ruto pia amejipanga clearly. What happens if we don't win? Are we gonna be in another broad-based? Are we going to compromise another? Negotiation? And then ODM, Johanna Father says ODM was also a movement, but Baba never made it to the big seat, yet he had a lot of support. So please, how can we make sure Sifuna and his team make it? We need to make a change. And then we have Pastor Veronica. Pastor Veronica anasema good example is ngoja Pastor Veronica hapa anasema good example is Burkina Faso leadership, lead working for the people. And then hapa Johanna anasema this is my cousin, I don't know who that is, clearly not me, he knows me as Popsy, so I think maybe ni DJ Moshfire, or I don't know who Johanna is talking about.
Yes. Uyo.
Now hapa Frosty anasema I'd ask them if they are registered, and if so, which party. Abbie is going to be addressing all this. And then Honeygirl and Jerry anasema I love that it is virtual, so that those of us not in major cities can participate. Will individuals like Sifuna be available for live Q&A during the session? Now that will be answered by Al and Dan. They'll be talking about that, so stay tuned, Honeygirl. And then hapa niko na sauti something like that anasema thank God nimepata like-minded people, we must rescue our country from shackles of Kasongoism. All right. And then hapa Tony anasema is there a Kenyan politician who can define the Kenyan dream and rally everyone behind it? And then we have Engineering Muscles. I love these names, interesting. Engineering Muscles anasema I see a lot of communication online from Abbie that is misleading. So Engineering Muscles, I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to, like if there's something, like unaweza kuweka link hapo tuangalie na tutajua. Again, the number to call is 202-683-4570. Press *5 to speak. Abbie, I'm going to go back to you. Before I come out with a question, I just want you to respond to some of those comments that were coming in on YouTube. So Abbie, all the way from Homa Bay County, kazi kwako, Abbie.
Do I start with
So unaweza kuanza na like the first question that came, is Linda Mwananchi a movement, a party, a coalition, a vuguvugu, a caucus within ODM, or are they just as confused as I am? That's a question from Tony.
Okay, so Linda Mwananchi currently is a movement, but we do have a party. The only thing that we've been having a push and pull with the Register of Political Parties is about our name, Linda Mwananchi, because we want it. And for obvious reasons, we've created a brand around it, and it is who we are. We started as a movement, and it's honest to say that this started from, the division that happened in ODM, and especially after the death of the late Baba, where we were having leaders who stood their ground on very fundamental issues. And they were saying, there was an agreement that was signed between ODM and UDA. It was based on 10 points agenda. There are some of these agendas that have not been fulfilled by the government. It was the agreement was expiring in this year in May, and so they did not see the importance of continuing an agreement with a party that continues to go against key fundamental agreement clauses. And these were led by Edwin Sifuna as the SG in the draft of the 10-point agenda. And then we had Governor James Orengo from Siaya County. We had Honorable Babu Owino. We had Honorable Kibagendi, who is also, by the way, from ODM, an elected member of parliament of ODM, Honorable Kisairo, and Honorable Barongo. So out of that disagreement and, them standing their ground and saying, Wananchi, the voice of the people is not being heard. And part of the reasons that ODM joined hands with the UD, the current government then when Baba was alive, was because of, how government had failed in its mandate and some of the issues needed to be addressed, including, expenditure by government, and which was one of the 10-point agenda. And so upon evaluating what the agreement and the success and the fails of the agreement, the fails were many. And so this team then did a whole mass walkout and said, we are not going to stand there and watch people lie that Baba wanted ODM to be in government or to form the next government with the UDA government. And if you remember the last public address by Baba, and he said, who told you? And you can see that is a key message with Senator Edwin Sifuna. Who told you that we'll not have a presidential candidate in 2027? And so this team felt that they needed to protect that legacy. They needed to protect that last directive that was given publicly, over and above what everybody comes out to say. Oh, I was with Baba before he died and he said that. We're always saying, can we reference his message that he told people publicly? And can we base that? Because if all of us were to come out and say, he told me this in secret, he's not here anymore to say, it's true, this is what I said. And so this team then now with like-minded people, and Linda Mwananchi is a movement that has, members of parliament elected with the Wiper party as well. We have Mheshimiwa Kimilu from Kaiti constituency. We have Mheshimiwa Makau. We have members that are not affiliated to any political party currently, like myself. I was in the Jubilee Party, I left. We have Pauline Njoroge left from Jubilee Party, part of the Linda Mwananchi movement. We have Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, who has her own political party, but is now part of the Linda Mwananchi movement. So this is a movement that brings about people that agree on the same principles, the principles of democracy, adherence to the rule of law, the principles that understand that Kenya is going in the wrong direction and things need to be done and we need to take power back to the people, owing to the fact that this government has ideally geared away from the constitution so much we barely recognize if they even understand what the constitution says. So that is what Linda Mwananchi is. We are moving now towards the launch of our party and our manifesto and our presidential candidate, but we needed to start as a movement that brings together everybody. Yes.
Oh, okay. So there is a party somewhere, or a party will be launched at some point. Is that correct?
No, there is a party. What we are securing is our name so that it can be called Linda Mwananchi Movement Party. Yes.
Okay, sawa. And then also, Honey Girl, like before I go back to the organizers in Houston, Al and Dan, Honey Girl Njeri was asking, I love that it is virtual so that those of us not in major cities can participate. Will individuals like Sifuna be available for the live Q&A during the session? Maybe this is a question that I need to direct to the organizers and not to you, Abbie. So let me start with you, Al. Will Hanigal Njeri is asking, will individuals like Sifuna be available for Q&A live during the session?
Correct.
Yes.
So actually we got confirmation today in written confirmation from Senator Soti, who is the team leader as well for the team in the Mwananchi leadership. All the principals will be attending. That's Honorable Sifuna, Honorable James Orengo, Honorable Babu Owino, pretty much all the Linda Mwananchi leadership. And so they'll be attending. Sifuna will be there and he'll be doing the Q&A. We have arranged the town hall in a way that we have a survey going on right now. And I think for our team members who are listening, they can be able to share that link as well. We want as many people as possible to participate in the Q&A survey. so that we can be able to amalgamate all these questions to avoid a situation whereby we have several people repeating the same questions. So essentially, we want to make sure that all these questions we kind of bring them together. We can be able to present those questions to the team, to the leadership. And then we're going to also have a session where we can have live questions from the audience, and then the leadership can be able to respond. So I think that we're going to have that. We have arranged the town hall in a way that there's participation from the live audience, as well as Q&A that will be presented ahead of time. I'm not sure if I captured everything. Dan, if you want to chime in as well, just to let the people know how the whole thing is structured.
Yes, and on that note, like Dan, as you come in, maybe tell us what are some of the main objectives of this August 22nd town hall, and who is it specifically intended to serve? Dan, karibu sana.
Thank you very much. To add on what Albert has said, yes, we encourage you. We're going to share the links. Those of us who have the link is going around. It has a QR code. You can scan in. You can even participate in the survey, send in questions, so that these questions our team is already filtering. And just like Albert said, so that there's no repetition, the questions are going to be from us, the diaspora, aired to the principals to answer questions. So besides that, the way you are saying, your question was, of course, most of the target is us. It's about us. So the diaspora will have a chance to ask questions. But again, it's Linda Mwananchi's forum on that day. They're going to tell us what they have for the diaspora. What do they have for Kenya, including us here? So that day is specifically for us to attend in big numbers. We ask you to attend in big numbers so that you can listen to what vision they have for the country. What are they going to do different from what is going on? What is it there for us, diaspora? Those questions are already filtered. We have so many questions already as of yesterday, and we are still collecting the data of questions so that it's all about us here in diaspora and also back at home. So that, like Albert said, we have a confirmation. They're going to be there. All the principals to be attending. And so the questions will be filtered, and each of the principal will be targeted with the question they answer. So that organization going on so that we avoid repetition. We have the moderator. We'll have everything being controlled. So come in full swing, knowing that you're going to get responses to the questions.
Okay.
And then just to add on what Dan has said,
Yes.
I also have to add that we are also considerate of the fact that this is a virtual town hall. And so the way we've made it possible in a way that also the principals, of course, it's kind of like not going to be like a regular rally that's going to happen in Homa Bay, but we want to make sure that you structure this town hall in a way that we get to hear more from the principals as well as the audience. So we have the moderators and also the principals. We make them understand that this being a virtual town hall, we have a way that we can limit how much a time frame within which they need to speak, so that we can hear as more information as possible. We have more people participating as possible. So we are working behind the scenes to make sure that this town hall is as smooth as possible. We can get to hear more from the principals, as well as to have a lot of people in the audience also participate. At the end of the day, we want to make sure that or some of the questions that Michael was asking about, as well as those people who are in different parts of the world, can be able to have some of those questions answered. And so it's kind of feedback as well. So hearing what Michael is saying, as well as what other people who are saying in the comments, is kind of gathering that information to see how better we can be able to improve within this week ahead of the town hall. So keep them coming, and we'll keep that in consideration as well.
Okay. Thank you so much. Now I'm gonna go back to Dan, but before I go back to Dan, like you'll adjust yourself to be in the center of the screen. Umesonga kidogo, so please make that adjustment. Now, Dan, the question that people asking, and I think Al has alluded to that, was a question: is it only Kenyans in the US? But I think Al has already said that people from across the world are gonna be joining. And then there was also someone who was asking, like a very basic question, like, how do we join? Please add the link. So if there's anyone within the organizing committee, please share the link. Like our YouTube live stream is not, our Facebook live stream is down. So if anyone in the organizing committee can add a link onto the YouTube comments, people want to know how they can join. And maybe Dan, maybe you can tell us a thing or two about people who want to join or RSVP. How do they do that?
Yeah, like I said, the organizing committee has come up with a link, of course, and there is QR code on it. You can reserve that you're going to attend, and the link is on that flyer. It's already being shared, and the committee is going to share with you on the YouTube for those who are not on it. But we are encouraging everyone to join that Linda Mwananchi forum. It's for all Kenyans in the whole of the world, not only restricted to US. So feel free to join. And on that flyer also, we have that link for joining the Linda Mwananchi Diaspora. So join the forum for more updates. It has the link for next week's meeting, town hall, and share the much you can and come in and listen. It's your time. So it has been a time for other people on the ground, and just like somebody says, it's a virtual meeting. So come on time and you'll enjoy it. So yes, the link will be shared, and I think our organizers are already working on that. They should be sharing on your it.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Dan. I want to remind the listeners that you tuned in to the One Mic Show. The number to call is 202-683-4570. Press *5 to speak. Apologies, our Facebook live stream is down. If you know anyone who's trying to logging in on Facebook, please ask them to come up on YouTube. And on YouTube, like quite a number of comments have been coming in. Of course, those who've been tuned in. We are talking to Al Musasi and Dan Mugubi, the organizers of the virtual Diaspora Town Hall. Linda Mwananchi, that's going to be happening on the 22nd of August. Like the timings again will be confirmed. I think it's going to be 10 a.m. Eastern time. You can calculate what it's going to be in your local time. And it will feature like according to the list that I have, it's going to be confirmed. It will feature, Senator Edwin Sifuna, Honorable Babu Owino, and Siaya Governor James Orengo. And quite a number of comments, have been coming up in here. And first, we want to thank Trishto TV. I may drop 2 sterling pounds. My goodness, I did not even know, like you could drop sterling pounds on a YouTube live stream. Asante sana. Yeah. So yes.
Ameongeza nini?
2 sterling pounds. Hizo uelewi yo mosh. Hizo uelewi yo mosh. You don't know those ones. Yeah.
Hizo Abbie akipewa hata anaweza fika kwetu achukue mbuzi alafu arudi nayo mpaka Nairobi.
Pounds. Yes, 2 sterling pounds. I think sterling pound imefika kama 160 ama 170.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Abbie umesikia?
Yeah.
Kutoka uende Atlanta ukapo ile
Nimesikia.
Yeah.
Unapenda mambo ya watu kupewa pesa.
I know. Tangu omosha poke bahasha.
Yani
bahasha brown. Anyway.
Musiseme loudly. Unajua mimi na Uncle Sifuna we are ninis. In fact, anyway, tuendele.
Okay. Now, another comment that was coming from Tony here, anasema there are politicians who are in parties like Wiper and Jubilee, but are usually in Linda Mwananchi rallies. Will they go back to their parties, or will they form part of the Linda Mwananchi party? So hapo atujui, Abbie Zuena atatujibu hapo. And then I can see also Pan-African is tuned in, anasema Mbadi is touting consumption of soda as a key indicator of economic growth. Soda is one of the worst poisons anyone can consume. Michael Bloomberg, a former mayor of New York, attempted to ban it. And then Pan-African father says Kenyans are not socioeconomically equipped to handle the resultant lifestyle diseases. And remember, Chrissy Akinyi was talking about those I think like 2-3 weeks ago. And then Brown Ajay anasema When is this going to be held, please? I'm a Linda Mwananchi diehard. It's going to be on August the 22nd, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be sharing all the details, the flyers na kila kitu, like watu wa Linda Mwananchi. Please hop on to the YouTube comments and provide the details. And then we have Sakodi Mila anasema the most consequential choice isn't necessarily party labels but competing approaches to building a productive economy and whether patriotic leadership can actually implement and sustain policies. And then Tony anauliza, is Abbie saying that Linda Mwananchi have bought a briefcase party and are fighting to register to change the name of the briefcase party? Abbie will respond to that. And then huyu hapa anasema Dorina Choki anasema virtual town hall is a start, but please tell Sifuna we are not a diaspora branch. We want a diaspora tour. Let's meet face to face. And then Upper Brown Jaya anasema I need to know about the people with disability wing of Linda Mwananchi. My goodness, okay. Like, so some tough questions coming here.
Yes.
Yeah, first one from Tony and Oliza. Abbie, are you saying that Linda Mwananchi have bought a briefcase party and are fighting to the registrar to change the name of that briefcase party? Abbie.
First, I want to say that the registration of a new party is quite a process. So there are two ways you can do this, and especially as the new entrant, we are new entry into the into the presidential race.
Mm-hmm.
And for you to even register a political party, you need to first go to at least half the counties, register members, 1,000 members and above. So you can either do that process, which is a quite tedious and long process, or you can purchase a party and make it your own and renew membership and cut the process short. So we are not just going to take a party for, has been scandalous or anything. Very many people underground own parties, and they are always willing to, during a political process or an electoral process, they are ready to sell or partner, and that can cut the process for us. Please remember, we just started our Linda Mwananchi movement in February. We have a lot of counties to cover. We have the diaspora community that we are now starting our engagement with. And so having that and having to deal with all that and then starting the registration of a new party from scratch, it would be quite hard for us. And dealing with the government that you're dealing with now and how they delay processes in key offices, you can no longer rely on a democratic process, even to begin the registration of a new party and still make it for the general election. So there's some things that the leadership needed to consider, and especially if we are to beat the timelines that are necessary, and for us to actually just give a home to our aspirants that have been demanding for a party for the longest. So a lot of thought went into this. But what I can say is that the people that have been on the forefront of the Linda Mwananchi movement are the ones that are going to own this party. They are the ones that are going to, they're the same leaders with the same principles and the same guidelines and the same messaging and the same purpose that they have for this country, which has been made very clear by Senator Edwin Sifuna in all his engagement. We want to take back this country to the constitution, because at the end of the day, our constitution has the blueprint and cures the software problem we have as a country. It guides on how we are supposed to take debt. It guides on how we are supposed to spend public funds. It guides on how anybody who misuses public funds should be dealt with. It guides on the separation of the three arms of government, that is the judiciary, parliament, and the executive, and the checks and balances of the same. So for us, our manifesto will be majorly anchored by the already provided for constitution that this government has seemed to separate its functioning from, and we need to go back there for us to, remedy the software problem that we obviously have as a country. Yeah.
Okay.
Was there another question?
The other question was, there's someone who's ahead of the teacher, and he's asking whether Linda Mwananchi has a disability, has a people with disability wing.
Yes, yes, we do. And if you noticed in our rallies, we even from our 10th rally, because this came up very fast, and I want to say that when we started the movement, not very many people were bold enough to join us. So we didn't have a lot of people with disability willing to come, and also because of the targets that we would face as a movement. Anywhere we'd go to a rally, a lot of insecurity, organized goons against us, tear gas, and so we kind of understood why a lot of special groups were not willing to come on board. But we are happy now that we have structured that, because the more we were consistent, the more that people were ready to join us and participate. We have a sign interpreter in all our rallies to ensure also like the deaf community are able to just follow our rally, because it's a very big community that came up and actually volunteered one of their own, who we take to all our rallies to do the same. And he's one of the pioneers that have started that wing, and I'd be willing to share the contacts of that person so that they can also just plug in and understand how that wing is operating. Crystal Asige has joined us as well. We are very happy.
Oh, interesting.
And she's also, yeah. She was in our rally in Kitengela in Bungoma, and immediately after she was removed from a Senate committee because, of course, ukiside na watu wa Linda Mwananchi gava inafanya hiyo maneno. Yeah.
Okay.
But she's also part of that wing, and we are very happy to have her there.
Okay.